And did those feet in ancient times walk upon England's mountains green? Hello, Baron Claude Valpine here once again. Thank you for joining me. You'll find me in the middle of getting ready for my jaunt down to Glastonbury to celebrate Beltane, no less. Yes, I've been meaning to go down to Glastonbury for many years now, it being a sacred place of pilgrimage for both Christians and those of my ilk who keep the old gods. The latter because of an apocryphal idea that back in pre-Christian times it was a religious centre for the polytheistic native religions that were existing in those days. And, well, if it wasn't true then, it's certainly true now. Glastonbury has become something of a neo-pagan polytheistic community. You'll see what I mean when we get down there. And as for its sanctity to Christians, that's due to an equally apocryphal story concerning Joseph of Arimathea, bringing the young Jesus to the shores of Britain, and them both taking a trip to Glastonbury, not for the festival, obviously, beg your pardon, and Joseph striking the ground with his staff, and it miraculously transforming into the Glastonbury thorn. Yes, and that gave inspiration to William Blake's famous poem Jerusalem, upon which the hymn was based, which I was humming at the entry to this video. Now, as to what I'll be celebrating, what many people will be celebrating down there and all over the world, in fact, Beltane. Yes, for those of you who don't know, Beltane is one of the 8 seasonal festivals, collectively known as the Wheel of the Year, celebrated by Wiccans, Druids, many neo-pagans, many polytheists of the modern variety. Yes, Beltane takes place in between the spring equinox and the midsummer solstice, it being a fire festival and regarded as the beginning of summer, when light and fertility are strong once again in the land. Romantic love is celebrated. Many marriages take place around this time, appropriately enough. And it's also considered to be the time when the veil between this world and that of the nature spirits is at its thinnest, and communication between the two is most efficacious, shall we say. All in all, it's a time for a great deal of funsies. Now, I'll be celebrating, I'll be celebrating naturally, slipping up over myself there, but I'll also be staying at a B&B. It's the downside of that, whilst it looks a charming place, is that I won't be able to bring my good friend Pudding along with me. Yes, he's the King Charles Cavalier Spaniel who's enjoying his breakfast over there currently. So I'm so used to taking him along on long car journeys. Yes, I'll be quite lonely this time round. Those hours driving, nobody but BBC4 to talk to. Yes. Oh, but nevertheless, the upside is there's a great many tourist destinations aside from all the sacred places in Glastonbury for me to see. Once I'm done with, well, I don't imagine I'll tire of things like Glastonbury Tor, Chalice Hill, Chalice Well, King Arthur's grave and so forth. But there's plenty else to see in the surrounding Somerset area. Cheddar Gorge, Wookey Hole. You know, I haven't seen those places since I was a fox cub. But in the meantime, Pudding will be staying with friends, 2 very good friends of mine. Tim, also known as Fulci Lover here on YouTube, and his mother Barbara. They very kindly volunteered to give Pudding shelter and food whilst I'm away. So a foxy salute, and the fox thanks you. Tim and Fulci Lover and Barbara. Oh, just won't be the same without you, Pudding. All by myself, don't want to be all by myself anymore. Well, that's the 3.5 hour car journey done with. I'm now on Glastonbury High Street. It'll be an hour or so before my B&B is ready to receive me, so
having a quick wander around. Glastonbury High Street. It's my kind of town. The famed goddess temple of Glastonbury. Alas, I've come rather late in the day to visit, but I've got all week to do that. Might be something for me to do with the evening after all. And here's what I'll be doing with some of my day tomorrow.
And delightful it is too. I might be nipping out shortly for the Beltane party that's going on in town. Take care for now. I'll just rest up. Just before you go, have a look around. It's delightful.
Alright, so I'm just driven into town. Tomorrow's when the big fair's going to be, but tonight apparently there's a bit of a soiree going on in honour of Beltane in one of the drinking establishments or something of that nature. So I'm going to check that out, see if I can find some familiar faces as well. Well, I found an evening Beltane celebration taking place. If a few familiar faces turn up, I might hang around for it. If not, maybe I'll just grab a takeaway. Take care. Well, nobody I knew turned up in the end, so decided to call it an early night. Right, off to bed. Bye-bye for now. Well, just had a rather nice breakfast, so I'll be heading into town for the May Fair fairly soon. And we'll see what we can see. Take care for now. Nice, and I've met my hosts, all rather charming people. Though there was apparently a bit of a mix-up in terms of the room I got put in. So I thought this was a bit big for one person. So you could have stayed after all, Pudding. You could have gone over there. Oh no, he'd have ended up chasing after the blooming sheep and so forth. But no, anyway, no fuss, no bother. Just swapping the rooms over now. Well, part of today's Beltane celebrations will be the Dragon Run. Not quite sure the correct name for it, please do pull me up. I understood it was going to start at 9, it's about 10 past now, so maybe it's nearer half past. Well, we'll soon see. I'll be ready with some snaps for you, don't worry. Interesting story about the red and white dragon. I'll fill you in on that later if you don't know it. Take care for now.
Let it be known to all ye good citizens here gathered that today the 36th Glastonbury Road Run will be setting off at various times and locations between 10:30 and 11:30 a.m. The young Alan Trindra Esquire from Glastonbury FM will be commentating from the Town Hall steps. The road run will be followed immediately after by the 2017 Glastonbury Beltane celebrations in the centre of town. There will be music with the Avalonian Free State Choir, our Avalonian ukulele group, the Drummers of Avalon, and the Pentacle Drummers from Eastbourne, as well as a host of other minstrels. We have dancing by the Glastonbury Morris dancers, and there will be dragons. 2 huge 50-foot dragons, 1 red and 1 white. please ensure that all young maidens are kept away from the dragons to avoid them being devoured. Long may Glastonbury flourish. God save the Queen.
That's the start of the Beltane race. And they're all walking. Oh, taking up the pace.
Come on!
Creative potentiality. Earth's dragon built pressure along the season's action trail.
Starting the story.
Rising to produce erect green throngs. Birds bustling, falling, brimming with song. Blessed Beltane!
Blessed Beltane!
Blooming budburst bonanza. Listening new boats of twinkling Avalon Isle. We salute as you set sail once again upon the high tides of love, of hope and community. Let us journey together to the exotic shores of high summer in a tantric riot, a glorious expression of union. Woo! Whoa. The heavy mists of spring, dawns, winter sublimate. We salute you, May Queen and May King. You are fecundity personified, right and blessing. We all, every one of us, stand on the threshold of unbridled joy. So, let your passions rise. Chase ye maidens, chase ye knaves, to the woods, to fornicate. The Glastonbury Morris will perform their dancing and their music in honour of our fallen king, God. The king is dead. Long live the king! I give you Glastonbury Morris.
Carrying at the maypole. No doubt my batteries will run out any time now. Thought I'd get this in though.
Yes, my deepest apologies for cutting out as I did the other day. Particularly as it meant missing out on the dragon parade. So I'll be a bit more careful today and conserve filming, but there were just so many sights to see. Yes, there'll be the maypole today, and perhaps we'll get a jaunt over to Glastonbury Tor, Chalice Wells, maybe even Chalice Hill as well. Well, we'll see what we shall see. Alright, laters.
Here we are, Chalice Well. Here you go into the Tor fairly soon also. Alright, come on in with me. Let's see what we can see. Yes, I do like this place a lot. It's a bit like Summer Isle from the Wicker Man without the human sacrifice. Glad nobody heard that. They might just be tempted to show me just how wrong I can be. Now, notice on the spring those circles interlap. Something of a ancient symbol, that, the Vesica Piscis. So mutually sacred to both Christians and old god types as well. But can symbol the three aspects of the Christian deity, or it could symbol the Holy Grail or the sacred vulva of the goddess. Yeah, that's the spring. Come along with me. Let's go and have a look at the veil, at the well. Come along. You know, I just realised while I was filming that I just ended up talking to myself because I hadn't switched the on switch. Right, well, yeah, just saw the footage of the Chalice Well there, hopefully. Place of quiet contemplation, sacred place indeed for Christians and new god types like myself alike. Now, I was able to sit around it and quietly contemplate and offer prayers up to the old gods, to my ancestors, and to the spirits of place, nature spirits, and so forth, to guide me on my way, as I'm fortunate enough to have a vocation where I can be of service to others. Paid vocation, that is. And I ask them to guide me to be the best I can be at that. Now, before I travel on to the tour, I think it might be time for some coffee and cake. That way. Yeah, on the way to the tour now. It looks like somebody's marked these with Nordic runes, unless I'm mistaken. read at your leisure to prevent me from wittering on, and we'll see the sights when we get up there. Glastonbury tour, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I didn't keep the video on during the climb up here. Me huffing and puffing. I'm not quite the spry young cub I once was. Yes. Now, in our ancestors' time, most of the view here would have been underwater. And Glastonbury, or Avalon, or Avalon, however they termed it, would have been a series of islands. Yes. We'll have a quick look inside after this. Impressive view, huh? Yeah, don't want to interrupt their filming. See if we can get in this way.
That's a great shot, isn't it? See, Chalice Abbey, Glastonbury, which became Estato Ruinati.
Yes, I'm just hearing a story related by one of the other visitors of the last abbot here being hanged. You can probably read that here if you would like to pause the video in various places on the way down. Yes. Well, I know there'll be maypoling in the market cross very soon, but yes, no idea what's starting here. Now I'll switch off until it really kicks off. So, shortly into the Beltane ritual, I ran into an old friend and mentor by the name of Sarita. I'll hopefully get to introduce you to her tomorrow. We're meeting up for lunch. In the meantime, I think I'll rest after that day, particularly after that climb up the blooming tor. Take care. Well now, Glastonbury Tercentennial Labyrinth, built to celebrate Glastonbury receiving its town charter from Queen Anne in 1705. We invite you to walk this labyrinth in the spirit of reconciliation and harmony with which it was made. Oh, thank you. Right, so let's see, where does one begin? I think you can just jump on any old where. Maybe here and possibly end up back where I started. Alright. Should I actually be walking on this bit, or should I be walking on the grassy bit? Oh well, started now, finish. No, in fact I will walk on the grassy bit. Right, yes, it seems logical, and quicker for that matter. Well, now I've been to the temple and worshipped at the feet of Rhiannon, I think I might just go into the Bridget Healing Centre, maybe for a reading. Yes, and as you may see here, depictions of the Taliesin legend. Yes, David Tennant of that. No, only joking, of course it's not, but it does look like him, you must admit. Yes. For those of you who don't know the Taliesin legend, is Ceridwen, sometimes depicted as a goddess, sometimes depicted as a great sorceress, had two children, one of whom was really lovely and fair, and the other was rather deformed. And to save that up as depictions of the Taliesin legend abound. Yes. David Tennant starring in that one, it looks like. And over there, Gwion Bach, little innocent, very looks a tad grown up to be Gwion Bach, but nevertheless, it's a very good painting. As according to the legend, the goddess Ceridwen had him stir this potion for a year and a day, which should give untold wisdom to anyone who took even a drop of it. But once they had done, the potion would become useless and poisonous. Yes, it was intended for her son, who was born rather badly deformed. However, just as it was getting ready, just that day before the final day, the blind man who Gwion Bach was stirring the pot with, he put an extra log on the fire, which caused it to bowl forth, and spit 3 drops at Gwion Bach, which landed on his thumb. Gwion Bach put his burned thumb in his mouth and gained all the knowledge and wisdom that was intended for Ceridwen's son, oh dear. And knowing how furious she would be, he made a run for it. Having gained all the wisdom of the universe, he was able to shapeshift. So when Ceridwen found out that she'd have to start all over again after having taken all that time and trouble gaining the ingredients together, she took off after him. And I do believe yes, various depictions of the shape-changing chase are abound here, until finally Gwion Bach takes the form of another landmark that's been recommended to me has been White Springs, and the temple there residing. Let's go and take a look at that. Well, here it is. Doesn't appear to be open as yet, and no recording devices are allowed therein, so naturally we need to respect that. So let's have a quick look for yourselves from the outside. So it's actually closed today, so I'll just have to come back to visit the temple on Friday when it's next open. Have a quick look around in the meantime, and there's a message for us all. I say, a druidic dog. Well, that dog has the Arrowin symbol at any rate. There's a good oak knowledge dog. Sweet little pooch. Yes, this camera keeps cutting out on me in the middle of my saying this, but there are some rather splendid depictions of the Cerridwen Taliesin legend. Yes, with starring David Tennant as Ilfin, it seems. Yes, Guillaume Bach looks a tad long in the tooth to be a little innocent, mind, but still a splendid picture. They're scattered rather all over the place. Yes, I do believe there's Cerridwen putting Taliesin in the coracle and casting him out to sea. And various depictions of the shape change chase. Yes, I have nipped in there. Goddess Temple. Rather a splendid and restful place. I think I might nip in there later once more. Yes, as I stated earlier, I went up there again to pay a visit and for some prayer time. I couldn't take a recording device in there, of course, although there's an altar to Rhiannon, I believe, and also to a deity of, well, in my ignorance I must confess I've never heard to, Nolava, Lady of Avalon. I'll have to research. I decided to venture into Wookiee Ho. I just thought Fulci Lover would appreciate that he isn't alone in this sort of thing. You know what I mean. Let's see, Sorbet. Yes, indeed, Wookiee Ho. Haven't been to this place since I was a fox cub. Right, hopefully I'll be able to take some film while I'm there, though I rather think I'm running out of battery at the moment. Can we say sex discrimination?
Head, sorry sir. Also, there is a river running through our caves as well, so please do be aware of the river. However, if anybody does fall in, I will jump in and rescue you. Do try not to, please, it is quite cold. Which casts a spell and blew his candle out. So Father Bernard listened. He listened to the sound of the water dripping down into the river below us there. He blindly made his way down to the water's edge, scooped out that water in the chalice and blessed it. And with that now holy water, he began to splash it and sprinkle it throughout the room, in hopes to exorcise the evil that lived in here. Suddenly, in the darkness, he heard a terrible, mighty scream, followed by silence. Father Bernard relit his candle. He looked out across the water and saw what he believed to be the witch, turned to stone. And here she is. You may need your imagination. Okay, so there she is. As we're looking at her currently, she's in silhouette there, she's in profile. So I will light her up for you. Okay, so the dark area on the side of her head there is her eye and eyebrow. As we follow the silhouette around that C shape, is her great big wide open screaming mouth. She's crouching, climbing down the rock, trying to escape. The Father now caught her mid-scream, and now she's frozen forever, looking out across the water. Now, of course, this is just a legend. It's just a story. The stories have to come from somewhere. Now, it says that bones were found in the previous passageway, and you can actually see them back down in the mill in our cave museum, along with some of the other artifacts. So somebody did live here all those years ago, but whether or not that person was a witch is another thing. What I show you today is a rock formation. She's a stalagmite. Bear with me as I reset the lights. But behind me, we have our biggest stalagmite. This is what we call the giant. Now, the giant.
Yes, that was quite an experience. Look, there's dinosaurs on the other end. Yes, apparently this place was used by woolly mammoths as a bit of a watering hole. Then Paleolithic humans came and joined them later. Yes, in Glastonbury Abbey at the moment, and this, it is purported, is the tomb of King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. There you can see all the data there, including that bit about the tomb surviving until the dissolution of the abbey in 1539. Yes, a bit of a vandal, that Henry VIII. Henry VIII more like. A couple of other parts of the Taliesin legend that I missed depicted around the place. So here I am at Cheddar Gorge. I've been here since I was a fox cub. They don't open for another quarter of an hour, so I can park the car free until then. After that, need to buy my ticket. In the meantime, let's see if I can find somewhere to go for a wee.